The United States is quietly losing one of the most strategically important countries in Southeast Asia, and most Americans have no idea it's even happening. This isn't about war or diplomacy gone wrong. It's about something more subtle: influence, trade, and silence. The country is Malaysia, and if the US loses it, the consequences could go far beyond borders. Why is this happening? And who's stepping in to replace America? We'll get to that, but first, let's understand what makes Malaysia so critical in the first place. Malaysia sits in a location that almost no one talks about, but almost every country depends on. It borders the Strait of Malacca, one of the most important and busiest shipping lanes in the world. More than 40% of global trade passes through this narrow stretch of water every year. That includes oil from the Middle East, electronics from East Asia, food, raw materials, you name it. If it's being shipped between Asia and the West, there's a high chance it goes through the strait. Now here's the key: whoever holds influence over this strait holds leverage over global trade. And that's exactly why both China and the US want Malaysia on their side. Just a short distance from the strait lies Malaysia's busiest port, Port Klang. It handles millions of shipping containers every year and serves as a key gateway for imports and exports across Asia. It's not just a port, it's a power symbol. And China has noticed. Over the past decade, China has invested billions into Malaysia's infrastructure. Ports, highways, railways, energy, all through massive funding under China's Belt and Road Initiative. It looks like development on the outside, but underneath, it's strategic positioning. So why would Malaysia allow it? We'll come back to that. Let's look at the numbers. China is now Malaysia's top trading partner by a huge margin. In fact, over 20% of Malaysia's total exports go directly to China. Compare that to the US, which buys less than half that. China isn't just investing, it's buying, building, and embedding itself deeply into Malaysia's economy. And in global politics, money talks. Ask yourself this: if your country depends on China for trade, investment, construction, and even digital infrastructure, who do you listen to in a crisis? This isn't just about business deals anymore. This is about alignment. At the same time, America has pulled back. While Washington has focused on domestic problems, wars in the Middle East, and the rising tension with Russia, China has been making quiet, consistent moves in Southeast Asia. Diplomats visit. Deals are signed. Construction projects break ground. And the US? It's mostly absent. No major base in Malaysia. No dominant trade relationship. Just silence. And when a vacuum opens, someone else fills it. That someone is Beijing. But this goes deeper. Malaysia is known for walking a neutral path, staying in the middle of global power struggles. But neutrality doesn't mean balance. It often means going with whoever offers more. And right now, that's not the United States. With China offering more trade, more infrastructure, and more partnership, Malaysia is slowly drifting east, not because it wants to choose sides, but because the benefits are hard to ignore. So the big question is, if Malaysia continues this shift, who else might follow? This is where the real danger lies. If the US loses Malaysia, it doesn't just lose one country, it risks losing the entire region. Countries like Indonesia, the Philippines, Thailand, and Vietnam are watching closely. If they see Malaysia growing stronger with Chinese investment and Chinese partnerships, they might ask, why stay tied to the West? What's the advantage? If one country drifts, others might follow. That's how regional balance shifts. Quietly. Gradually. Permanently. And here's what's most concerning: Malaysia isn't even demanding that much. The US doesn't need to build a base or send troops. It just needs to show up, through trade, diplomacy, and long-term vision. But so far, that hasn't happened. China, on the other hand, is playing the long game. It doesn't need a military base in Malaysia. It just needs to make the US irrelevant. And in many ways, it's already succeeding. So, what happens next? Will Malaysia go fully into China's orbit? Not yet. The country is still officially neutral, still welcoming investment from both sides. But the path it's on is leaning heavily east. And unless something changes, unless the US starts taking Southeast Asia seriously again, that balance might tip permanently. At that point, it won't just be about Malaysia. It'll be about the entire South China Sea, the Indo-Pacific, and maybe even the future of global trade. Let me ask you this, do you think the US still has a chance to win Malaysia back? Or has China already taken the lead for good? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more calm, clear breakdowns like this, subscribe. Only a small % of people ever do, but it helps the channel grow and keeps videos like this coming.